Hello, everyone. It's Michele Maher here today, and I'm here with Stephen McDermott today, who is a realtor. Stephen, can you give us a little bit? Well, first of all, thank you so much for giving me your time to talk about what's going on right now, and we can and give us some insight as to what's going on with the real estate market as a result of
Thank
this pandemic that we're going through. So, Stephen, do you want to just give us, just let us know who you are?
Yes, thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate you letting me be on today. My name is Stephen McDermott. I am a residential realtor with Royal LePage. I work out of an Oakville office, and I cover the Halton Peel regions mostly. 15 years. This year is going to be 15 years for me as a realtor, which is really exciting for me. That's a big anniversary, so I'm happy about that. Lots of questions that have been sent to me from clients and future clients and past clients, family and friends
Yeah.
about real estate. So again, thanks for having me here today.
Of course. I guess the this is all unprecedented, unprecedented situation that we've never been in a situation like this before.
Um,
We've had disasters before, which are physical, tornadoes, and of course the ice storms that we went through here and things like that.
yes.
But this situation is on a global scale, basically affecting the entire world. And so
This,
it's scary territory.
yeah, Michelle, you used the perfect word there. Unprecedented. This is unprecedented. Um, Real estate. We're always affected by world events. We're always affected by local events.
Yes.
Real estate is one, of course, that affects globally and locally. This reminds me of some of the economic turbulences we've had over the last my 15 years.
Yeah.
Some of the older agents in my office talk about how this is very familiar to after the World Trade Towers went down. There was a couple of weeks of inactivity, everything shut down, nobody wanted to do anything. So this is very similar in that nature. I'm
Right.
expecting this is going to go on for a little while, though. While I'm here with you, Michelle, I'm going to go live onto the Toronto Real Estate Board. I'll answer any of your questions about specific areas and pricing and activity. I'll give you a little bit of statistics on what's been happening so that your viewers can get a little bit of comfort. It is challenging times, but it's certainly not world ending at this point with respect to real estate.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Stephen, because I know somebody I know was intending to move back into Toronto from living in the East End. I mean,
Mhm,
outside of Toronto in the
mhm.
GTA, and possibly coming into rent. So that's something that she's put on hold now because everything is so uncertain. And I did see a post this morning from somebody I know who's actually moving right
Yeah.
now. So they've already gone through the whole buy and sell, and I guess the place of moving. But what about the people that have their, because there are houses up for sale right now. I've
Yes, there
seen a
are.
few in my neighborhood, and
Yeah.
I just saw a new listing this morning.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Life goes on, but it goes on very carefully, very cautiously under these circumstances. Real estate has been deemed one of the required services because there are people who, for necessity or for need, will have to sell their home, will have to buy their home. Um, there are people who will prey on or take advantage of the situation and try to get lowball offers. There's a lot of for sale by owners who are getting a little bit leaned on now by very experienced agents to say the world's falling apart. You'll be lucky if you get 50% of your equity in 6 months, which is, so I always promote working with a professional, and this is one of those occasions where you have to. You
Yes.
mentioned that there are listings that you've seen, and yes, there are listings that are going on the market. My advice to people is if you have to, go ahead, hire a professional, a trusted professional, and tread carefully. Make sure make sure your home is prepared normally as you would with a listing. But if you don't have to, don't. If you don't have to go outside, don't. If you don't have to sell your house, don't. If you don't have to buy a house right now, don't. And that's my approach. My approach is very honest and open with my clients. I'm looking right now at a Toronto Real Estate Board. In the last 7 days, last week, March 18th is, when this all really started to happen. Since March 18th in Oakville, there's been 27 homes sold. In Burlington, let's look at Burlington. 20 homes have sold. When you look at Mississauga, if you'll bear with me, I'm going to jump between communities here. Mississauga, we've got 55 homes that are sold. Brampton, we've got 87 homes that have sold. And all those main areas, Milton as well. Sorry, I forgot Milton. Sorry, Milton, got to give Milton some love. All of those main areas, my point here is there is activity occurring. Milton has 25 homes that have sold, and those are homes. Those are not condos. I have to go into a separate section and log in separately for a condo report. This is still going to happen. Homes are still going to sell. And Michelle, what you're going to start seeing is some news reports. News are going to look for information to present to their readers and their clients and their web, their blogs. They have to fill up their blogs. So you're going to start seeing these end of days real estate reports, 30%, 35% drop in market, 50% drop in market. Those big numbers, this always happens. It refers to volume. And what I mean by that is there have been 50% less sales in the Toronto area, or there's been 50% less turnover of property or new listings come on the market. People read those and they think, oh my gosh, we've just lost 50% of the equity in our home. No. What I've noticed is there has been a reduction of probably between 25 to 40% in different areas of the number of sold transactions in the last week compared to this time last year, compared to this time last month. I'm a bit of a numbers guy, as you can tell. So there has been a big reduction in the volume and the number of homes that are changing hands. The prices are staying the same.
Right.
So the market price has not changed. As time goes on with this, that probably will drop. It's impossible to know how much, but be wary of scary headlines, because the property values have not dropped that much.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's all the same. The media wants you to read. The media wants you to be engaged. So they're always going to put whatever catches your eye, gets your attention. And it's no different than a lot of the articles we're seeing about the virus that are there to, you can get sucked into the fear pretty easily. And we don't want, fear breeds more fear, and panic breeds more panic, as we saw with the grocery shopping, like the grocery stores and the panic buying. We don't want anything like that happening with respect to real estate. People getting so paranoid that they think they better just sell or something, something like that happening. So, like you say, you have to engage with a trusted professional.
Absolutely. Engage with a trusted professional. And like, I think that's kind of the rule of thumb right now. If you don't have to, don't. Like for all aspects of life right now. You don't have to.
Everything has been put on hold, really, wherever possible. Again, of course, there are people who may have already bought a home and haven't yet sold theirs, or people that already have their homes listed where they've already signed an agreement with a real estate agent, right? So they can't
That's the case with me. I do have clients that are active on the market right now. And what I do is I keep them updated. I just say to them, look, appointments are going to slow down right now. People are going to be nervous about going into someone else's home. But the ones that are coming through the home, they're going to be very, very interested. There are people, I'm not working with any, but there are people who have already sold their home before this, and they have to find something because they're committed to an agreement that maybe was signed a month, 2 months ago, or 2 weeks ago. They've sold their home and now they're looking to buy.
Or else they have nowhere to go.
Or else they have nowhere to go because they have to honor the commitment of that agreement that they signed. So
Of
those
course.
people are probably stressed. And again, I hope they're working with a trusted professional, because there is inventory out there. I meant to pull up another statistic for you. Go ahead. There is inventory out there.
Yeah.
And there are good agents out there. We do have a bit of a reputation of being underhanded, but that's just the bad apples, right?
It's kind of like with anything. There's always people that ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do right now, Michelle, is I'm just going to pull up some same statistics. I gave you some numbers of how many active listings have sold in the last week. How many homes are on the market right now in these different regions. I'm just sort of switching over to another information source. Okay, so I meant to ask you a question, Michelle.
Yes.
This project that you have, this broadcast that you have, tell us more about what you're doing and what you're promoting and how you're helping us, because we all of us as small business owners are very intrigued with what you do, and we want to hear more about what you're doing to help your community.
Well, yes. So I am. I decided to start this community after I kind of felt myself getting sucked into the fear when this whole when everything started being canceling. It started with my events that I had upcoming were canceled, and then there was more concern about postponing and moving things out a month, that kind of thing. And then I guess when the NBA suspended the season, and then they said the NHL was going to do it, then it really, really, to me, like, that was it. This is really serious. If they're canceling sports, then like that, I'm not
things are bad.
I'm not a sports fan, but I know that it's huge. And so I found that, and then the grocery store panic buying, everything like that really got to me, and I actually ended up going to Costco on the Friday right after.
Oh, God help you.
And yeah, so I just I felt myself getting sucked into that hole, and I knew that I didn't want to stay there because that's not a good place to be. So I thought I would start this community and start talking to people to just get advice from a perspective of mindset, keeping a positive mindset, routines, how to deal with children at home, how to talk to your children with respect to this virus without making them, fearful, how to, look at this from a perspective of the opportunity, if you are a small business owner, to make some changes to your business, bringing your business online. How can you serve your community? How can you serve your clients better by using the online resources that we have available, that kind of thing. So I knew that I know a lot of people because I've been networking for quite a while. And so I knew that I knew the people I know, like I know so many amazing people who have different advice to provide to everybody in terms of how to, whether it is dealing with mindset or dealing with your business or dealing with children and then having to worry about, the fact that they're not in school and are they still learning, that kind of thing. So I thought I would bring it all together and then different views on different things that are happening, like in your case, being an expert in the real estate market, just to give people a view on that. And then I had somebody else talking about I'm going to have another person, a couple people, about finances and cash flow planning, that kind of stuff too. So I just wanted to get it all together.
Great. I love it. Michelle, you and I have known each other for several years. We initially met on, I think, on my network lunches that I used to host.
Yep, your
over.
lunches. Yep.
You are so
Yep.
great. You're such a positive.
I used to come out there to Oakville from
Yeah.
Etobicoke.
Oh my gosh, such a far away.
Yes.
Now,
but I liked your group, and I met some really great people there too.
it was, yeah, we don't do those anymore. But you mentioned something that really resonated with me, Michelle. I just want to put the real estate stuff aside just for a moment. You talked about mindset, and I'm a firm believer in mindset. Obviously, I have been reading a lot of articles lately about, people are stuck at home. Depression tends to set in, anxiety tends to set in. Those are the two big ones. Mental illness aside, sometimes you're trapped within a diagnosed illness. Aside from that, most of us do have a sense of kind of being lazy right now, or kind of being maybe overly energetic because they have nothing to do. Those two spectrums. Mindset. I learned a couple of years ago that I get to decide. I sort of created a bit of a mantra based on a lot of stuff that I'd read. I get to decide how I feel. And when I formulated it, when I sort of reflected upon it a bit more, it gave me a sense of ease, because I'm very, empathetic. I have a lot of empathy for others. I feel for others. So when bad things happen, they do affect me emotionally. And when someone shouts at me, or someone, calls me a bad name, it happens to all of us. When something negative is sent to us, I tend to absorb that and feel negative myself. And I stopped doing that several years ago, because I taught myself that I choose how I feel. I realized I choose how I feel. And I was allowing myself to feel negative and feel brought down by the negativity that's being sent to me, the negative energy that's being given to me for whatever reason, because, somebody, a close friend or family hurt me, or a stranger in the parking lot, flipped me the bird or something like that. It was an almost overnight release and a relief to make myself an empowerment to say, I get to decide. If you try to hurt me, it's up to me to decide how I feel about that. And it's a very simplistic approach, and I've since read it in many other places. But I remind myself of that regularly, especially right now. We have an opportunity to control, or at least influence, our own response to this. And I think you can tell I'm sort of getting excited about this, because it's very important to me. We can choose, are these events going to bring us down and make us worried and make us scared? I think we should be aware of them, but we get to decide how we feel about that. We get to decide if we're going to be sad or scared, not the external forces. And that's I hope that's a bit of an empowerment message, to your viewers, because it's something I absorbed a couple of years ago, and it was very, very empowering.
Yes, right. And that is so true.
Quick update. Oakville, since Monday, has generated 114 new listings. Now, that's not new sales. That's not homes that have sold. That's brand new for sale signs on the lawn.
Monday being
the 23rd.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Not
no,
yesterday.
today's Wednesday.
Oh God. Yeah. Still losing the concept of what day it is.
I think a lot of us are kind of going, what day is it today? Date? Don't ask for the date.
And it feels like to me, I was at a board meeting before all this started. I was out at this networking group that I'm a part of. We had our board meeting, everybody was together, and that was right before all of this stuff started. Yes. And that just feels like months ago.
Oh my goodness.
And yet I think it was March 12th. Yeah.
I know. I hear you. It's kind of been slow time. So since the 23rd of March, which is Monday, the new properties that have gone on the market, that have become available on the market in Oakville, is 114. Yeah. In Burlington, we've got 61 brand new homes. These are not condos, these are homes. Milton, we've got 63. I think you see my point here.
Mhm.
Life does go on, and I'm looking at the prices, and I have a good sense of how much townhomes and semis and detached homes and condos, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or 1+den, etc.
Yeah.
I have a good sense of what those general statistics are for each main community. I'm not seeing a drastic reduction in price. So yes, business has slowed, prices have not.
Yeah.
Right? So I hope that's a little bit of good news. I
Yeah.
actually send out a newsletter. Michelle, are you okay if I punch a page on my website, or do you prefer not?
That's fine. We can put it underneath this video when I post it into the group.
Okay. I send out a weekly update of different communities in Halton Peel, and it's all you need to do is type in your email address and your name, and you'll get a weekly report sent to you that you can click on. You can use all the links. You don't have to sign up once you've asked for the newsletter. StephenMcDermott.ca/news basically is the website. It's Stephen with a
Okay.
PH. StephenMcDermott.ca/news. There's a click here button. Put in your address, and you'll get a weekly report of all of the communities and all the price ranges of active listings and sold listings in the Halton Peel area.
Okay, that's great. That's great
Yeah.
information for everybody who, and I know a lot of people who live in those areas. So that's great info to share with us. Thank you. The other thing I was going to say is that I have been hearing that people are buying houses without actually seeing them. I guess there are the virtual tours, there's a walkthrough, things like that. Me, I don't know that I would necessarily be doing that myself, but I know people buy condos from plans.
Yes, it does
So
come up. Definitely, that's a great observation. It does come up that people are buying homes sight unseen or buying condos sight unseen.
yeah.
Obviously, international buyers, that
Well,
occurs.
yes.
Out of town buyers. But technology these days, especially the technology that I use, is over and above what I see out there. What I do is I provide still photos that everyone's going to see, of course. I also have a video walkthrough, which starts with a drone of the overhead of the neighborhood. It swoops down, and it goes through the home. The drone actually goes through the home. So it's almost a very immersive experience where you're actually virtually walking through the home.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. I also introduce the third level of marketing is, I guess, 360 or a spherical type photo.
Yep.
My photographer is excellent. What it is again, a virtual photograph. It's a single photograph that you can move around on your keyboard with your mouse, or if you have a smart device with the app, you can as you move the device around, it moves within the room. You can even use one of those VR goggles to virtually look around the room. So these are the things that I provide, and under these circumstances right now, that technology is key for me, because there are people who are saying, honey, let's go out and buy a house, but holy moly, don't touch anything, right? Like, we better bring our rubber gloves, which I respect.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. Take a look at my virtual tour. Take a look at my 360 pictures. Take a good look at the listing. And if you are comfortable putting an offer in on one of my listings, or another listing that's not even mine, we put a condition in the offer to say it's conditional upon the buyers having a walkthrough of the home. So yes, go ahead, purchase the home, put an offer in on the home sight unseen. But let's decide, we're going to take a look at it first, just under the circumstances. Perfectly acceptable. You're still going to get financing. You're still going to get an inspection, but it's perfectly acceptable to do those kind of things under these circumstances.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. I didn't know that there was, well, I guess I hadn't really thought about it before, because normally you can do a walkthrough. So.
Well, that's where I come in. The
But
other
you can
option
do
I
a
provide,
condition like that.
absolutely. You can do a condition like that. I can introduce that. And if I'm representing a buyer and the seller says, no, I don't want to agree to that, then thanks, we move on to our next home. I protect my buyers very strongly. The other thing I do is, let's say, Michelle, you were thinking about buying a condo, but you were very nervous about going into a foreign environment and going out into the world. I respect that. Let's do a video. Let's do a FaceTime call. Let's do a Zoom call. I'll walk through the home with you, with my phone, and you can walk me through it. You'll monitor the call. You'll be able to see it, and you say, "Oh, go back over to the kitchen. You know, can you open up that cupboard? I want to see how big that closet is. Oh, is that a skylight?" I'll walk through the home as you with my phone, and you can watch it.
Yeah.
It saves you going out of your home, you know?
Right.
So these are the things we have to kind of do. These are the things we have to do as professionals to help our clients.
Yes. Yeah. And it's all new. And this is when you can be more creative and come up with these different ideas on how to navigate and how to get carry on with your business.
Yeah.
As well as for the people who, because like you say, life does go on, and some people they have to move. Like,
and if you
there's a
don't,
good choice.
then just hold tight for a bit. And if the market does take a hit, let's say take a 25% hit. I'm not predicting that. I'd be shocked if it took a 25% hit, but let's talk about worst case scenario. Let's say you lose 25% of the value of your home, and that's not a good thing for you. Then just move in a couple of years. It'll rebound. It always does.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely will. Now, going with that, I know that prior to this, the market was way up in terms of prices this year in 2020.
It was. 2019 was a bit of a flat year. Yeah, 2019 was a bit of a flat year. There was marginal increases, 2 to 3%. It did show positive growth as far as number of transactions. Again, there's two key variables: how many properties sold, and how much did they get, right? With respect to the sales last year. So the number of properties that sold was up, and the price compared to the previous year was also up 2-3%. In some areas 5%. North Toronto did very, very well.
Yeah.
The beginning of this year was building towards a very strong market, a very heated market, and definitely strong price growth. COVID comes along, Corona comes along, and says, okay, we're going to hold off on that. Look what happened with the stock market. But even the stock market has rebounded at this point. They had an 11%, the Dow Jones had an 11% increase yesterday. So these are good signs.
Right. Yeah, no. Yeah, and prior to this as well, it was a seller's market, right?
Very much a seller's market.
Because I did hear about a lot of people with multiple offers, you know, and some people putting in offers that they thought were quite substantial, but weren't even looked at, and in some cases 20 offers on a house and things like that, which
typically can be that situation can be crafted, and a lot of people don't know this.
I know. Yeah.
You know, if I take a $750,000 house and list it for 600, I'm going to get 25 offers, right? And typically what happens is agents are saying, well, we won't take offers until next Thursday. So nobody can actually put in an offer. So it becomes an open auction at that point.
Yeah, actually that's how we had sold our last house. With
now
that
last year,
offer date thing. So
this time last year, I had clients who were selling, and they asked about that strategy, and I said, no, we're not in the market for that. This time last year, that strategy would not have done well. You would have to list a $750,000 home for $500 to get the attention.
Right.
Now what you're doing is listing a $750,000 home for $699, and you're getting lots of attention. Under the current circumstances today, I don't recommend it, because
put it at market rate. Like,
put it at market, but that's a very fluid number right now. Nobody's really sure what market is. Interestingly, when I watch the statistics, I'm not seeing the average price of homes going down yet.
Well, yeah.
They will. And I promise you they will. That's something that people don't want to hear, but it will.
Yeah, I guess it really all depends on how this all plays out for us in Canada.
This morning, by the way, this morning, Prime Minister Trudeau did announce the what was it called? The Canadian Emergency Relief Benefit. The Canadian Emergency Relief Benefit, and details of it are going to be released shortly. It actually combines two of the different benefits that had been released last week or had been discussed last week. They decided to just blend them into one. So there is going to be a Canadian Emergency Relief Benefit that's going to be available to small business owners, people who are out of work, various circumstances. Don't quote me because I don't know all the details yet. But
yeah, I don't think all the details are out there yet either. Right?
But if you Google
Canadian,
if you Google Canadian Emergency Relief Benefit, that you'll get some information. So there are stimulus packages there.
Yeah, yes, I did hear that as well. I guess the details and all that stuff probably have not been ironed out and released yet, like in terms of who, what, how do you apply, that kind of stuff. But I guess the other thing is the interest rates are lowest they've ever been.
Yeah, and so is gas prices. 66 cents, but we got nowhere to go.
Well, you still can go for a drive.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
You can still go
Last
for a
week,
drive.
I did see that some of the drive-ins were open, but they've since shut them down.
Oh, were they? Oh.
Yeah, they were still open. Their point is, you're in your car, don't get out. I don't know if the food bar was going to be open or washrooms, but I mean, they've since turned around and shut them down as well. But that was a fun option.
Right, and I've seen some people going for coffee in their cars. So they'll meet somebody in their car and park, make sure you have the 6.5 feet distance, and then just shout from your window to the
Correct. I had to go to Home Depot. There was a minor, not emergency, but a minor need for me to venture out into the scary world. I went to Home Depot. Most of the stores do have early closing hours now.
Yes.
I went to Home Depot and they only had one set of doors open. In Home Depot, they have like the lumber yard and the contractor's door over the side. So that was the only door they were letting people in and out of. And it was one in, one out. And there was a lineup of about probably 15 groups of people. And everyone was being very respectful. They were keeping their distance between each other. But I thought, wow, this feels like the pictures that you see from the 80s of, USSR. And, we're not there. But I mean, this is such bizarre times. What I did like was people were being very respectful of each other. There were no cranky moments. I was in a line to pay, and I realized that there was another. Once I went around the corner for my line, there was another group of people that were lining up for the same cash. And I thought, oh, shoot, I'm in the wrong side. And we all sort of, as a group, again, kept our distance, but just sort of went, oh, I didn't know you guys were in line too. You go next, and then I'll go, and then you go, and then I'll go. So people are being very kind with each other, especially during these times.
Yes, they are. And I had the same experience at the grocery store as well. Everybody was keeping their distance and quite respectful. So that's good to see. And again, online, there's so many people offering their services for free, whether it be, business coaches, life coaches that said, if you want to, a phone call, you want to talk, other businesses, groups coming up, like, groups to support one another and things like that, free marketing.
Yeah. Learn a musical instrument. Lots of music lessons.
Then we have the musicians, right? Like that are actually everybody who's isolated at home doing concerts in their homes. I saw Coldplay. I think it was Coldplay. Then I saw Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman was dancing. Yeah.
Again, it goes back to what I was saying before. I get to decide how I feel about this. I can decide to shut down and go into a very quiet and depressed state of mind, or I can decide to worry frantically and be in an anxiety-ridden state of mind, or I can decide to just kind of go, count to 10, I'm okay, my kids are okay, my family and friends are okay. I do know some people outside of my immediate circle that have been diagnosed. My brother went through the process of getting diagnosed, but he turned out negative. So that was a bit of a worry for a little bit of time, but I get to decide how that information makes me feel. And again, I hope that's empowering. If that's empowering to one person out there, that's very special to me, because having gone through depression myself, it is very suffocating. But once you realize that it's up to you, to decide how you feel. It's a way out. It's light at the end of the tunnel.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that. That's definitely so true, and that's why I wanted to get this group together. And it's great that we have this technology, so you
I
don't have
love
to
it.
be isolated and home.
And speaking of light at the end of the tunnel, look at the light glinting off of that jewelry around your neck and on your ears. Michelle, please tell us where you got those. Come on.
Yeah, you can see some of the background behind me. It's my studio here, right? So I at the same time as doing this group and putting all this together and all these interviews, I am also doing my own. I'm going to start doing my own videos, because this is something I've spoken about for a year, that I'm going to do regular videos educating people on because I design and create all the jewelry, and I use semi-precious stones with healing properties. And so now I'm going to educate everybody with the healing properties of the stones and things like that, and different designs, and how to wear jewelry, and that kind of thing. So
Well, that's great. And
that's
where can
something I've
people
decided
get
to do.
such wonderful jewelry? On your website, I presume, right?
Yeah, it's my website, michelemahirdesigns.com.
I love it.
It's actually, before all this happened, I was in the middle of doing some branding and messaging update. I just had a photo shoot on March 10th, so got that photo shoot done right before.
Okay.
And I am coming up with a new tagline. I'm going to have a new banner, not changing my logo, but I'm also going to do some revisions to my website and things like that. So that was something I was working on before this, and now I'm going to focus on that as well.
Well, I really like this
Over this
platform.
time.
I have watched a couple of the videos of the interviews that you've done. I'm really happy that you allowed me to come on.
Thank
The real
you.
estate market is there. It is still happening. Be very wary of the headlines that are coming up. Be prepared for some changes. There may be a dip in prices. There's going to be a dip in inventory. Sign up for my newsletter, stephenmcdermott.ca/news. Be good. Decide to feel good. It's up to you. It's up to your decision to feel good.
Yes, we're gonna come. I see all the people out helping each other, and everybody. What this is doing is bringing us all together as a community, as a global community, and we're gonna get through this together. And we're gonna be a much better people after this too. Yes. Yes.
That's my favorite coffee mug.
Yep. That's what you get to choose to be awesome. Thank you so much again, Stephen, for your time. And when this video gets up, I will put your link to your website underneath as well.
My pleasure, Michelle. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.